Hey, how's it going? Hope everyone's doing really well. Hey guys, my name is Tony. If you are watching this video later on, just know that you are watching a live video. Guys, I like to go live 2 or 3 times a week. There's just no other way to say it. I am a big coffee geek. And if you're a coffee geek like me, I'm going to ask you, hit that subscribe button. Come hang out with me, join with me. All that good stuff. All that YouTuber-y things. Yeah, guys. And also, feel free to follow me on Instagram. And, you are always more than welcome to DM me there. That's the best place to get to me. If you want to send a message, I have a lot of you that have, reached out to me on Instagram lately. And guys, just to let you know, it is one of my favorite things just to talk to you guys about coffee and, geek out, all the good stuff. So hey guys, yeah, with my lives, I really don't have too much of a plan. It's just pull some shots. Usually I like to try some new beans. I got this new awesome grinder over here. This is the StarSeeker. This is the StarSeeker Edge, and behind it, I don't know if you can see it hiding, but I actually have my Hybrew G5, and I might pull them out, show you guys side by side if you're ever thinking about a comparison between the two. But yeah, I have been so stoked. This StarSeeker is just really cool. I'm so impressed with the build quality. You guys, at more and more I use it, it's been a pleasure to use. Like, there's just no other way to say it. But yeah, hey, I wanted to go ahead. I've never pulled a shot of coffee on the espresso machine here with this particular type of bean. I have actually used a Largo. Uh, I'll probably say the name wrong. You know, a lot. I've used them before a lot, but this is their Costa Rican El Volcano. So volcanic, I'm sure. Beans. I've had really good luck with them. They tend to be very much commodity. This isn't one where you're going to see, um, you know, the roast date and all that, but you're going to see a use by date. The use by date is October 2025. So if I had to take a gander, I would say these are probably roasted in October of last year. But they're a good brand that you could find pretty much in any supermarket here in the United States. I think in Canada too. So I every now and then I like to mix in something like that because, guys, there isn't anything wrong with having some good old faithfuls every now and then. I really love supporting roasters, local roasters. 2 weeks ago, I was out in Gilbert, Arizona, and I went to Sagebrush. If you guys haven't watched that, it's a short video. I did a live video there. I was hanging out with my wife, and I really would like to do some more videos like that. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know. I am in Central Florida, so I am in the South on the East Coast, but I have also grown up in the West Coast, and every now and then I go out to the West Coast. I travel a lot for work. So I've kind of thought about what I told my wife is the one who said I really should highlight local cafes and roasters. That might be something cool. So if that's something you're interested in, please let me know in the comments below, because I really have thought about doing that more and more. So let's go ahead. Let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and pull some of these beans right now. And I have not had any coffee in the morning. I can't even believe this morning I've been doing so much with just day-to-day stuff that I completely did not have coffee. So I like to do these lives when I need my coffee. So if you guys see some mess ups or some bloopers, don't worry, you're in the right spot for that. I often tell everyone, I am a very small YouTuber. I'm a home hobbyist. There's just no other way to say it. I am not a paid professional, y'all. Even though when I was in college, I worked as a barista, but that's like saying, who didn't in college work in a cafe as a barista? Oh man, I'm going to start with the 18 grams. But yeah, if you are like me and you're a home hobbyist and you are just kind of the espresso geek or coffee geek, definitely hit that subscribe button. You're in good company if you want to see someone make mistakes and pull some weird shots. I always joke around with my wife. I'm not Mr. Instagram, even though I'm on Instagram and I like Instagram. And I really dig, you guys. I dig this so much. I love seeing when y'all put those pretty shots on Instagram. So cool with that. I want to see you make your cool shots on Instagram. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she's always like, "Hey, you could make a shot like that, like get your camera the right angle." Oh my goodness. Hey, how's it going, Elizabeth? Definitely appreciate you hanging out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off with StarSeeker because, like I said, I just made some videos on that. Let me move this out of the way just a bit, and then we'll go with that. And then I'll probably end up pulling a shot on my Shardor 64 millimeter flat burr grinder. That's the one right here. I've recently replaced the burrs on that one, and then maybe we'll use that bad boy in the back one at, for our third shot. I have got to look for a plug because I got so much stuff plugged in my little coffee corner here. So I went ahead and did an RDT, so Ross droplet technique, sprayed some water. This is a plasma generating unit. The last beans, the one thing that was a little bit confusing with me, just a tiny bit, not a big deal, is that if you notice right here, it's kind of hard to see it with the white. This doesn't start off with 0, where a lot of grinders do have a 0 point. It is a 0 point, but 1 is your 0 point. So basically there's 10 different, I believe, microns between each one. There's 100 different settings. My last one I did was right about a 16. So I am actually going to go ahead and go down just a tiny bit. Usually my experience with more of a commodity bean is that it's been sitting around, it probably has less water content, and I tend to need to go finer. So if you have any tips or tricks when it comes to getting supermarket beans or something that's a little more commodity style, please let me know. But that's kind of where my experience has been. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these pulled. And I'm not expecting these to be a giant Crema beast. I will be happy with any Crema. I did open this bag about a week ago, right when I came back from my trip, and I did a pour over with it, and it was excellent. I used the ratio to do that. There we go. But yo, I've been really digging this grinder, and I just love the way it looks. I love this Stormtrooper white. Everything I have tends to be black, so it's nice to have something that kind of pops. Alrighty. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's do some puck prep. And y'all, I've been so stoked. I got some new tools from iCap, and they are awesome. Today, I'm going to start off with my Lucky MH Bomber Precision Basket. I'm using an iCap portafilter. This is a 58 millimeter portafilter, a bottomless, and I really love it. It has like a cutout so you can see more of your coffee, so definitely cool. What I dig about this is I really love how this basically catch cup doesn't have a lot of play in it, and it's super easy to kind of fiddle around, give it a little shake, some little extra homogenizing of your grounds, okay, and all that good stuff. So I dig that, love the fit, and I am going to go ahead, grab my lightning tool. And guys, I definitely appreciate all the new subscribers. That you guys, it really means a lot to me. I started this channel about a year ago. For a long time, I only had like a couple hundred subscribers, which was awesome. But lately, there's just been a kind of explosion. So I really appreciate you all so much. I really do this to kind of connect with you guys. And I'm telling you, I really love it. When y'all send me stuff. Ray, if you watch this later, buddy, really appreciate you, man. I really, appreciate you sharing your espresso journey with me. It's so cool when I talk to folks who are kind of getting into the espresso for either the first time or like me for a long time. I was, I did it in college and I really loved it. I've always been a coffee drinker. I'm that goofy guy that when I always worked in an office, I've spent my whole life, I'm an insurance agent been for 20 years. But I wasn't the goofy guy that back in the early 2000s, I had one of these. It wasn't metal, but I had a plastic one, like a V60. And I would do pour-overs at my desk. And all my coworkers would look at me and laugh. And I had one of my managers walk up to me, one of my district managers at one point, and he's like, "Hey, man, you know that there's a coffee machine in the office?" And I remember saying to him, "Yeah, do you know what that coffee tastes like?" Like I could do a better job than that, and that's the truth. I love being that coffee geek. Okay, so this is the new iCap. I really love it. It is a magnetic distributor. It is basically just like a gravity distributor, but it actually uses magnets, and it has a double bearing. So you go ahead and just put it right on top, and this element is the one that spins, not the whole thing. So that's something really cool. And I've been really digging how smooth this looks. I mean, look at that. It's like butter. Isn't that awesome? Beautiful, right? And what I really like is it doesn't put too much pressure, so it's not tamping it, because that's not what you want. Distributors just to distribute. And then this is their awesome, basically force tamper. And I really love how fat and stubby it is. I love that. It's very much like a palm way of doing it. So I dig that. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Beautiful, right? Yeah, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a puck screen right up top. Okay. Get that locked in. And I am using my Gemilai 3007L. This is the powerhouse. This is the one that is just like the Turret Legato. So it is really a cool machine. And then I'm going to go ahead. We're going to use, again, Bottomless. I'm going to try to get you guys as close as possible, but that might be a little hard. Let's see here. I want to get this pulled. There you go. I think that's pretty much as good as I'm going to get. I'm going to try to do about 32 out. Okay, and again, first time pulling these beans for espresso. I could have gone too fine. Yeah, it's not where I want it to be. It's right about 12 to 13, well, right about 13. But I was trying to go finer because, again, these are commodity beans. And sometimes I've to get crema, you got to put a little more pressure. Let's see here, 28. And it's a little bit longer than I like. I'm going to stop it right there. 27 and 34 seconds. Okay. 27 and 34 seconds. Okay, let's go ahead. Look at that. Yeah, I got some crema up there. Not too bad. Definitely not too bad. We'll go ahead and put it on the refractometer. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead, give us a little stir and a little taste. Okay, put it right on the refractometer. And when I stir it, the crema does kind of break up just a bit. I'm going to show you guys a good crema shot here in just a minute. Okay, 13.44 on the refractometer. So, yeah, definitely in the right zone. 100%, 13.44. Okay, give it a little taste. Cheers. Salud. Salanja. Ooh, wow. Wow. That is interesting. So this is a light roast, but it's pungent and not, it's a weird word to use, but it's strong, and there's a big mouthfeel on it that kind of reminds me of a dark roast or medium roast. It definitely says light roast, but I think that is that volcanic flavor, that volcanic soil. It kind of reminds me of, if you ever have a good Kona, I love getting coffee from a volcanic region. It's so awesome. Hey, Handful, so what's going to be your next upgrade for your grinder? Yeah, so cool. Yeah, that was a good shot, guys. That was very tasty, very well balanced. Like I said, not a lot of crema on it, but just really awesome. I mean, it's still really good. All right, guys. So I am literally going to pull a shot very similar to this one, but we're going to do it with the uh, Shardor 64. So this grinder has been one of my absolute favorites, and I'm going to tell you guys, it's probably one of the grinders I'm going to recommend the most, especially right now. Especially if you're budget friendly, or budget friendly, listen to me. If you're looking for something that's not going to break the bank and something that's going to fit the budget. Something I've shared a lot on my channel, guys, is that I am very cheap. Very frugal. There's no other way to say it. It takes me a long time to part my money, and I'll give you a great example, okay? This Gemilai right here, this is basically the Turnt Legato 1.1, okay? This is the Me Coffee Apex 1.1. It's not the 2, and I waited like over a year. The 2 is actually already out, and I didn't even buy the 2 because I got it on a really good deal. And Gemilai, I reached out to Gemilai and was like, "Hey guys, what can you do?" They gave me a little discount code. I'm super excited and feel very thankful to them. But it takes me so long. I'm a late adopter, 100%. But this is really cool. And then one of the reasons why, guys, is that it's just about spending money. I know that sounds silly. I'm just one of those people that I hate spending money on myself. I can spend money on my kid, my wife, and my family, but myself, it's like another story. But anyway, I'm so happy I got this. Okay, this has been a total game changer. It's a great unit. Oh, upgrading nugs, cool. Like your the actual. Do you mean the burr set in it? But yeah, so to kind of go back to this one, the Shardor 64 flat burr grinder, I actually upgraded the burrs. So here are my stock burrs right here. These were the burrs that are actually inside the grinder currently. So if you have this grinder, oh no, these are Mazers. I'm sorry. These are Mazer burrs. I just completely forgot. So originally I was going to try to go ahead and put Mazer burrs for the Super Jolly. When I first started in a cafe in the early 2000s, I used a Super Jolly. That was one of my first grinders. And the Super Jolly is just, it's epic. It's been around since like the 80s or something. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's like one of the first really big flat burr commercially used grinder set. And, you know, the cool thing about this is you can get aftermarket grinders. The thing with the Jolly, though, is I believe it's this middle circumference. I believe this is a little bit thicker than what's usually found in SSP burrs. So I couldn't use these in this grinder. And if anyone knows a hack or there's some way to get it to work, you know, maybe there's a mod, you know, definitely I'm always interested in finding that out. But yeah, I went and I bought generic multi-purpose burrs, and y'all, I have been loving them so much. I don't know, maybe one day I'll buy the real thing and get SSP, and maybe I'll buy it used. You guys, if you're not following him, Han has his wonderful coffee channel, and he's epic. He goes live all the time, and he's kind of like the coffee master, in my opinion. And I love watching his channel, and you know, he was actually recommending buying used ones, you know, at places, you know, different, there's reputable places that sell used ones. So that's maybe what I'll do in the future. But I'm going to go ahead. We're going to pull the same coffee on this. So since I've swapped out the burrs, basically, let me kind of show you guys really quick. The True Zero is basically off. So as far as settings go, that's the one thing that I'm going to tell you guys. If anyone does do an upgrade on this, just please remember that your True Zero is going to be off. So you kind of have to kind of think things through a little bit differently. So here's the upper collar, and I'm going to pull this off. Here is the multi-purpose burr, and this is not SSP. So just kind of let you guys know that. Give us a little bit of a cleaning. I've been very happy with my retention results. As you can see, not very dirty. I could probably clean this up a little bit, but you know, when I remove the upper burr, not very dirty at all. But this is titanium coated. It's the red coated, and y'all, I have been getting crazy good results. And I'm gonna tell you right now why this particular grinder, if you're on a budget, is one of the best ones. Is the fact that you could actually replace these burrs. It's just like a DF64. Pretty much what fits in a DF64 will probably fit in this bad boy here. Um, the Mazzer I hear fit in the DF64, and that's why I got the Mazzer. But they don't in this. I'll tell you that. I think it's because of this upper collar. So I'm putting the upper collar on right now, and the True Zero has moved over. So that's something that, like I said, to think about. True Zero tends to be more about 10. And if I turn it on, oh, interesting. Oh, I already had it on. You can hear it spinning. If I push it down to that 0 point, you will hear the chirping, which I don't want to do. I don't want to damage my burrs. But basically, when I go to do this now, I have to, just so you guys can see this, I have to think about 10 as my True Zero, and when I count it down, so if I would do something that was a 10 before, and let's say I want to do about a 15, I'm actually doing about 25. I'm sure I could either 3D print something right here, or I could go ahead and print out something on here that could stick. I'm sure there might be someone who would do it on Etsy pretty soon. So that will not surprise me if someone's going to be putting that on Etsy at some point. Oh, cool. Eureka Minion. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, the Eureka's amazing. Yeah, the Minion is definitely such a that's it's like a standard bearer. I mean, I think that's a great grinder for sure. But yeah, I definitely have been digging this one. It's been really awesome. I've been super happy with it. But just to give you kind of price point, especially if anyone's not in the States, here in the States, they, during the Prime days, it was running for $140, like 144. So 144 for a 64 flat burr grinder is crazy. 144 US. So I don't know where other markets where it is price wise, but here in the US we have seen deals that have just been loco. Like there's no other way to say it. Just crazy, crazy deals. So I'm a big fan of what Shardor is doing. They just have been making some good stuff. There's just no other way to say it. They really focus on making stuff that's super affordable. So I dig that. I've used one of their espresso machines, and over here I'm gonna be doing a giveaway pretty soon for this bad boy. So yeah, I'm all about making stuff that's approachable and affordable. I think that's super important. I think not that companies lose sight of that, but there are people that are just scared to get into espresso because they don't want to spend thousands of dollars, and they don't want to, they don't want to make a mistake. And there's a lot of times I kind of laugh a little bit, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but sometimes I see stuff on Facebook Marketplace like grinders, and I really liked what something Han said the other day. It was like, you pick one of those used grinders up, it's been pre-seasoned. They did your job for you. So, I mean, there's not anything wrong with buying that stuff, and I love Facebook Marketplace. But I'm just saying that sometimes I like it when things are like this, that are super approachable, where you're not going to be worried about breaking the bank, and you're just going to wholeheartedly just jump into it. I always say this, and I'll keep saying this all the time. It's okay to choke your machine and make mistakes. It's okay to pull a sour shot. It's okay to, add the wrong thing in, or to get the wrong recipe, because that's what teaches you how to make coffee. That's the best advice I can give anybody. Giving yourself that opportunity to have experience is huge. That's a big deal. That's kind of why I loved when I was in college, because I got to goof around. I got to make shots for myself. I got to mix drinks and do all that stuff. And, you know, got to make it for my customers, get to know them. There's a lot to be said when you have guests in your shop and you get to have that conversation, you know, and you kind of just learn it by doing. So I'm a big believer in that. So yeah, cool, cool. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. I have this at about 15. I'll do some RDT on this. Okay. Give it a little shake here. And I just realized I don't have my dosing ring or my dosing cup, so I am gonna. Oh, this one doesn't fit. I will do direct to portafilter. Okay. Let's do direct to portafilter. I have a whole setup in my kitchen. I actually have thought about getting all my espresso machines on my budget espresso machines and doing a big video on budget espresso machines, just kind of going through all the different ones, because I think I have like 8 of them now. So I was thinking about doing that, and I was thinking about putting it all in my kitchen and showing you guys some of my kitchen setup. I'm going to be swapping my Gevi 58 millimeter espresso machine with my Owl here pretty soon. So, okay, so let's do some direct to portafilter. And as I turned off my machine, there we go. And because I'm doing that, and I don't have multiple hands, I'm gonna load my beans in prior. I generally like to turn on my machine first, and then, you know, I think about the longevity. Okay. Yeah, I love this thing. Give it a little tap here, settle the bed a bit. Oh, of course that would happen. Who needs a dosing ring? Just dropped my dosing ring. Goodness gracious. I have been using this WDD tool from iCap, but one of my favorite parts of it is this dosing ring they have, and this one is super secure, so I've actually been really enjoying that. There you go. Clear. Nice. There we go. Yeah, this is kind of their circular WDD tool. I know there's another technical name for these, and I've had some really good luck with these. Well, this one, I really enjoy it. The one thing I kind of find with it, though, they do give you replacement needles, but the needles tend to be a little fragile, a little more fragile than the other needles, but that's not a bad thing. It just means they're light. All right, cool. And I hope I didn't overdose this thing. Okay. Again, super buttery smooth. This distributor. Watch some cool videos. Someone was like spinning it like one of those fidget spinners. Give it a little tamp. Super satisfying. And I like, you know, a lot of my tampers pull up some, you know, coffee. And this one, for some reason, has been good about that. Okay. There we go. Let's add the puck string. Load it on up. Okay. Let's pull the shot. AeroPress scoop. Yeah, man. You got it. That is my AeroPress scoop. I love AeroPress. So my wife and I just took this trip to California and Arizona, and I love going on trips, and I always take my AeroPress. I brought one of my Time War grinders with me, and I was all ready to go, and I even brought my AeroPress filters. And then we get to our first stop, and then I look at my wife, and I'm like, no! And she's like, what's the matter with you? What are you, like Darth Vader or something, screaming? And I forgot my AeroPress. So here I was on this trip, traveling all the way to the West Coast, and I forgot my AeroPress. Ugh. Sad day, sad day. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this. It's again 18 grams. I'm going to try to aim for about the same. I'm curious how this is going to come out. Yeah, so it's already very close to the same pressure. What actually way over pressure. Bummer. Yeah, see, that's the difference between this machine. In theory, this should have been like right about the same setting. This is going to be a really long shot, guys. I do want to taste it, but I will pull another shot. Yeah, this was too fine, 100%. And you could see the over here, the gauge is going down because the puck is basically breaking down. But that's okay. I'm sure it's going to be, sure I'm going to get some folks being like, "What are you doing?" Here's the thing, guys. I actually was watching one of Han's live streams the other day, and he was talking about, you know, the fact that people will sometimes they'll say, "Oh, this was a terrible shot. I'm gonna throw it away. I'm gonna throw away the coffee." And if you do that, fine. That's really cool. Uh, Coffee's expensive, and especially if you're doing really good local coffee and you're paying that good premium for it because it deserves to get that money, then don't waste your shot. Now the cool thing is this is more commodity. I got this for a good price. These beans, I want to say I paid like 12 bucks, 12 bucks for those. But I also kind of believe in just trying everything you make because that's how you learn. So that's my advice. I tend not to waste coffee. Sometimes I pull a shot like that. I'll make myself an Americano and, enjoy it. Anyway. 10.98. So it's still espresso range, but yeah, not what I typically like. Okay. Let's give this a little try, then we'll do it again. Cheers. Yeah, totally sour. Still good, but sour. Yeah, definitely sour. Yeah, that's a sour shot. Oh, goodness. This particular coffee has a very big cinnamon undertone. So star anise, cinnamon. And believe it or not, I don't think it tastes terrible. This isn't like, oh, that's pig water. It's just, it's not as good as the last shot. I'll just tell you that right now. That's a fact. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust a bit. And this is something I'm going to tell you right now. Flat burr versus conical. I do believe conical is a little more forgiving. So that's what I'm going to tell you. If you are a beginner, I don't think there's anything wrong going flat. This is a great grinder. And but if that's kind of one thing to think about. And with going with this type of burr set, you're going to have that. You're going to have to dial in it a little bit more and all that. But that means it's a little more capable. So, that's something to be expected. Okay. So let's do 18 grams. And we are, there we go, 18.1. I'll take that. .1. Yeah, this is actually a minion hopper. So the size, the diameter, it's actually built for a minion. It's not for this particular unit. Yeah, no, it's true. When it tastes good, it's always right. Yes, my friend. Yeah, it's crazy because I think that's one of the things that sometimes a lot of people get caught up in, is that it is really important to have a good recipe, you guys. And I'm not going to be one of those folks that says don't follow a recipe. I just broke one of these things. Oh my goodness. But yeah, you definitely want to have a good recipe. Good recipes is what makes good cooking, right? But one thing I'll kind of tell everybody, and I always kind of say, it's also a good idea to experiment. And what what one person has as results isn't always going to be the same. There was this really great video that Lance just did. Oh man, I'm forgetting the gentleman's names, but they were some coffee growers, and they were talking about how they could have the same varietal of coffee, and they could cup it with one crop, and then basically same area, same varietal, same terroir that the coffee was grown in, and it could taste different. And that's kind of one of those things. My family actually was strawberry farmers. All my uncles and my grandfather's grandfather, and my grandfather's grandfather was basically farmers out in California. And we had giant ranches. We had a big ranchero, uh, and we grew strawberries. And we had orange orchards and apple orchards. And I grew up with a big farming family. Some of the last big farmers in Southern California. My family was the first Spanish settlers, and we're also Native American from California. And what I'm trying to say is, I remember my grandfather working the fields, and he would make he'd grow strawberries, and it would be different. One year would be different. One year would be sweeter, even if you had the exact same variables. So what I'm trying to say is, coffee is like that too. So the results you get, even with the exact same coffee, might be a little bit different than what I get. So I think that's kind of one of those things I tell people, give yourself some grace, experiment, and just remember, you're not always getting the same thing, even if you're following the same recipe. But it's good to have great habits. And there's a reason why the 2-to-1 ratio is the way to go. Yeah, I mean, there's always gotta have a good foundation. But like I said, it's not always the same. It's crazy how much things can change. There we go. Nice. All right, I'm going to use my lightning tool for this one. Oh, watch it now. This is my espresso switchblade. So this wasn't going that much higher, so I'm curious on the results. I think it went about 5 more steps up. Almost to 30, so about, yeah, right about there. Okay. Totally. I'm reading your comment there, Hansel. Yeah, it does. Seriously, beans matter so much. It really does. It's just crazy. Yeah, I think it's a lot of times people forget that. I had someone reach out to me one time, and they got the exact same beans that I got, and they had a different experience. And they were just bought on Amazon. I really love Good as Gold, and they're one of my favorite Amazon roasters that's available. But I've ordered the exact same beans from them, and it had different roast states and all that were really big variables. That was a little shocked in, but they're really cool. I remember one time I got one that was kind of old. I reached out to them, they refunded me and sent me a new one. So yeah, they're good. They're a really cool roaster. Huge fan of theirs. They've been around for a long time. Okay, so let's go ahead, pull this shot. Okay, and I have the old one right up here, so I could kind of taste it. Okay. All right, let's see how this goes. Yeah, definitely not as much pressure, which is awesome, but still, I could probably go coarser. Still slow. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it looks like a better shot overall. I'm gonna stop it right there, about 30. 30.5 and 31 seconds. I'll take that. I'm not gonna argue on that one. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it looks like a way better shot. So, way better shot. Okay. Yeah, even when I stir it, I could see it's better. $12.48, so definitely better extraction. Okay. Let's give this a taste. Salute. Cheers. Slanja. Oh, yeah. Way better. So here's my original. Yep. There's that sourness. Again, it's not unpleasant. It's just not good. Not the same way. Oh, that is nice. Very good caramel tones. Very light chocolate. A lot of cinnamon, star anise. I actually think this would be really good for, like, I don't know, like I get visions of my grandmother putting uh, cinnamon sticks in her coffee, and what was that coffee called? Coffee de olla, that she would make. That was just so good. I grew up in a big Mexican American family, and my grandmother was very how do I put it? Spiritual about her coffee. There's just no other way to say it. She's the reason why I got into coffee, and she would make coffee, and this kind of reminds me of my grandma. So, for my abuelita out there in heaven. Oh, that's delicious. Yeah, I'm digging that. I did a pour over with a ratio, like I said, about a week ago with this, and it was very tasty. My son was like, "Wow, Dad, this is good." So this stuff is good. Definitely, again, if you're looking for a good old faithful, this could be your good old faithful. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I would definitely recommend this. That's kind of, sometimes you got to have a good old standard bearer or a good old faithful, and this isn't bad. This is good. It definitely says light roast, but there is I'm getting that darker undertone. That's probably because it is volcanic, so Costa Rican volcanic. I tend to love the coffee from Central America, South America, Mexico. The coffees from the Americas are my personal favorite. So that this is good. So I'm digging it for sure. I also just got this one. This is Bazin Coffee, and they are a roaster that specializes in single origin out of Vietnam, and I'm a big fan of the Vietnamese coffee. And this is a 100% Robusta. So if you're looking for a Crema Beast, this typically is going to be a good Crema Beast to go with. So let's go ahead. Do you guys want to see the G5 in comparison? I can show that to y'all. So let me know if you want to see the G5. All right, so let's clear this out. And here is the old puck screen from the last shot. Puck screen, listen to me, puck. I'm looking at the puck screen. Oh my goodness. Gotta clean my puck screens, y'all. This is the current shot. Came out nice and clean. Good clean. Knock. So I always like that. This machine is awesome. This Gemilai, again, 3007L powerhouse. Same as Turrent Legato, Apex, Me Coffee Apex. Y'all, if you're looking for a good machine, this has been one of my favorites. Three-way solenoid. This is a hybrid system, boiler up top, so this gets all nice and hot. And it uses a thermal block for your steam one, which is super powerful. And it's really easy to go from pulling a shot to steaming. It's like there's no really downtime. It's just the solenoid changing. So it's not instant. You can't do it at the same time. I've said that before on another machine. My owl I have up top here. That's going to go in my kitchen real soon. Got to do that video, y'all. And the owl is awesome. Okay, so here is my last puck. One I just pulled. Nice and saturated. Looks good. Clean that puck screen really quick. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a video pretty soon on grinder machine maintenance. Just putting it together. I got this really cool kit from Very Barista with basically... Oh, no, this is the descaler I got from them, too. So I'm going to be doing it. I'll probably descale this machine and do a back flush. I've had this thing for about 2 months now, so it's time to do a back flush. I probably should have already done that with the shots I pull on it. So I'm going to be doing that pretty soon. And I'm doing that for the first time on this machine. So, yeah, I'm going to record it so you guys can see, you can learn from my mistakes. I say that, guys, because I'm telling you, sometimes I'll do something and somebody will reply to me and they're like, again, I'm all good. Please, if you guys have a tip or trick, share it with me. I am a work in progress, my friends. The one thing I never want to tell you guys is like, hey, I'm the pro. No, that's not what I am. I am the dude learning stuff with you. So, and I learn from awesome YouTubers out there. There are some folks on YouTube that I absolutely love to watch, and y'all should too. Okay, here's the big question. Yeah, I don't want to unplug my machine while I do this. All right, guys. So, really quick, I wanted to show you guys a comparison between these two machines. If you are so inclined, if you're thinking about buying a conical machine, you kind of want to see what's out there, this is what you should be watching. So this machine right here, well, this grinder is the Hybrew G5, and I forget the burr geometry on size, but let me just kind of show you guys this one in comparison to the StarSeeker, okay? So StarSeeker is about, right now on Amazon, it's about $260. On their website, it's about $300. Okay? It's an awesome machine. Super high quality. It's a full metal build. Really dig it. It uses a 7-star cone design, which I have been loving the results. It comes with the bellows. Really awesome. Magnetic knocker / shoot. The Hybrew G5 has been one of my very favorite faithful conical burr grinders out there. It is, again, all metal. Comes with this awesome dosing cup. It could actually go, what would be 90 degrees, and then it could tilt over. Really, really good construction and a really good grinder. So, sorry, I was just reading the comments here, guys. But yeah, this one has been really, really cool. This has been a rock star for me. What I really like about this one is the price. I have seen it as low on AliExpress, and personally, I don't recommend buying it on Ollie. I've had good experiences and bad experiences on Ollie. If you've had good experiences, awesome. I've had good experiences buying little accessories, but anything I try to buy big, I tend to have some issues with. Here's the upper burr set. I want to say this is either 38, and here is the conical cone that's inside, okay? So the cone is actually, this one's bigger, actually, I'm remembering now. I think that they say this one's the 48 because at the base, if you look, it has that pyramid design. The base is a lot bigger, and it uses the 5-star design. I have been very, very happy with this one. But like I was saying, price range, I've seen this on Prime Days, it was like 160. So when you think about that price-wise, that's pretty awesome. I have not had a lot of retention issues. I have heard people say they've had retention issues with this, where they kind of have to make sure they clear it a lot. But I really am a believer that's kind of most grinders. But if you were looking for a budget grinder that's rock solid, I'm telling you guys right now, I think this is an awesome choice. Like, there's just no other way to say it. It's capable of going all the way to Turkish, which I have done. Let me turn it on really quick so you guys can hear it. Clear that out a little bit. But this has just been really an awesome grinder. So I'm definitely going to recommend it. Tell you guys right now, it's a really good one to get. Yeah, the Hybrew H10B, I have it sitting right next to me on my shelf, is really what this grinder is really known to be paired with. And it is really cool. I love my Hybrew H10B. That is a budget beast, 100%, especially for 51 millimeter. That's probably my favorite 51 millimeter machine, and probably the one I recommend the most after the DeLonghi 3630 or one of the ECPs. But yeah, that Hybrew is just so cool. I love my Hybrew. Let me show you guys the inside of this really quick, just because I showed you that one. Just so you guys can kind of see it. So here is the 7-star design. Everything on this is magnetic, and I really love how easy it's been to clean this and get into it. And it's very well thought out and well designed. Just no other way to say it. There is the spacer that we gotta, if you ever open this up, make sure you do not lose it. And here is a better look of the inside. So I believe it's like Allen wrenches that you would use to take out the burr set. They do make a titanium upgrade for this. So it's pretty cool. Like I've been very impressed with the build quality. So for $100 more than, let's say, the G5, I could see where that's important. And I could see why this would be, a good purchase, because it's just dang cool. Like, there's just no other way to say it. It's just a really good, solid machine. And it has the plasma ion, all that good stuff. The G5 does not have plasma. I do believe there is some, I know there's some anti-static technology that's built into the way that the coffee's pushed around, and there was like fins that were in there, and that works really well. I really have not had the retention issues. I've had some folks say they've had retention issues. I've never had one with that particular unit. It's been pretty good. It's pretty standard in comparison to most grinders. So again, StarSeeker, awesome. Gonna totally recommend that for sure. But price wise, this thing is a budget king. It really is. It's a cool grinder. I love it. I've had zero things I wouldn't recommend for this one. So I'm going to tell you guys that. I am very firm in telling you that right now. I really like this one. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll pull one last shot. I'll pull it off of this grinder. I'm gonna do the Robusta beans. And I have never done the Robusta, from this particular roaster on this grinder. So I'm going to go with what I usually go with. I'm going to do about a 14. That's what I'm thinking. No, 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 no. I'm going to do about 11. Again, hopefully, I don't go too fine, but we'll see. We'll see. Just turning it back on. I want to go into eco mode. All right, so let's get 18 grams. All right, let's do some 18 grams here. Again, Vietnamese Bazan coffee. And this is fuel to free your spirit. That's what it says on the outside. Guys, Vietnamese coffee, especially Robusta, is like rocket fuel. I mean, there's a lot of caffeine in it. So that's one thing I'm going to tell you guys. I like Robusta, and it's not a bad word in my house. I'll tell you that right now. Good Italian coffee always has a little bit of a blend in there. Traditionally speaking of the two, Arabica and Robusta. The Robusta, I think, is really good. I love making it with milk drinks. It's just nice and creamy, and I think it gets that extra caffeine. I tend not to do a lot of milk drinks. There's folks out there that I am so impressed with. I'm going to tell you guys a dirty secret. I am terrible at latte art. Again, I worked in a cafe in college, and I made coffee, but you guys know how it is when you work in a big commercial place. And I was working in a college cafe, guys. So college cafe, you don't have the kids saying, give me some latte art, even though maybe this generation, but in my generation, the early 2000s, like 2001, 2002, nah, I don't know. At least that wasn't my thing. But I am not a good latte artist, guys. I will gladly admit that. I really love when people share their latte art with me. So like I said, follow me on Instagram, y'all, because I want to see your latte art. My wife loves a good cappuccino or macchiato, and that's the only way she drinks her coffee. I like my espresso dark and rich. That's the way I like it. I always like to drink it straight up. So I am not typically an a cappuccino drinker. I joke around with my kid when we're traveling. I'll go to places like Starbucks, and I will probably always get a cappuccino there just because, again, I don't make it really at home that often. So I know people always want me to test out steam wands and everything, but my poor steam wands just don't get a lot of use. I got to give them some more love. My wife's got to make some more orders from me. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this started up. So I dig the hopper on this. This is definitely a single dosing mindset. Oh, goodness. Minded grinder. Okay, and it's definitely clear. It makes very quick work of things. I always use the blower on this. I really like utilizing blowers and bellows. That's kind of a thing. Maybe that's why some folks, I don't know, maybe they don't get that because they say they do have the retention issue with it. Totally. Yeah, bad espresso in Starbucks. I know. When we were traveling in California, I went to a Starbucks and I was like, it killed me. Like the part of my heart kind of broke. I was traveling. We're in Starbucks, and I say, "Hey, what what coffees can you make espressos with?" And the young lady looked at me like I had three heads, and she's like, "Well, I don't know what you mean, sir. Our machine only does our standard espresso." Then it kind of like dawned on me, oh my gosh, that's right. They only have super automatics in most Starbucks across the country. So it's true for them to swap out the coffee. They're like literally swapping out. It's like a science experiment. they're not really making pulling shots the way we pull shots or the way I pulled shots. My first espresso machine I used in a cafe was a Mazzer. I'm not, oh man, what was it? No, was it a Mazzer? No, it wasn't. But anyway, what I'm saying is the idea of having portafilter and pulling shots the way we do to these kids that work at Starbucks is not the same way. I mean, it just really isn't. And it just, yeah, part of my heart was just like, what? Like, come on. And then this is what she said. And again, bless her heart. I live in the South, so I'll say bless her heart. She said, well, we can make you a pour over of whatever you want. And yeah, that's fine. I mean, at least they're offering that. Back in my day, it would be like, you want to make a French press. But yeah, interesting. I was telling this to my wife on why this bothered me, and she just gave me this look like, dude, really? My wife's a tea drinker. She's not a coffee drinker. I'll forgive her on that. No, she loves tea. Coffee's kind of a rare thing, and she'll have it when she needs the caffeine. But yep, my son and I are the coffee drinkers in our house. So nice and fluffy. I really love the grounds that came out of here. Okay. Very strong black cherry smell. That's what I always get from good Vietnamese coffee like this. That very much black cherry undertones. So good, good, good. This thing just glides. So really quick, let me show you guys here what makes this a little bit different is this element stays still, and this is the element that spins. So it's actually the element that spins. I love my Normcore. I'm going to show you guys my Normcore really quick. This is my Normcore gravity distributor, and it works like a champ. Highly, highly recommend it. When you spin it, the whole thing spins. So again, it doesn't mean it's not a good distributor. It's a great distributor. It's one of my favorite distributors. And here is my gravity distributor by MH Bomber. Similar design. This spins, the outside doesn't spin. My only gripe with this one is it's very heavy, and there isn't magnets that slow this down. So it really almost sometimes tamps the coffee, and that's not what you want. So, I don't think this is the worst. This is probably one I'm going to start letting my son use. He tends to take my hand-me-downs. But yeah, that's the only thing with it, I tell you. And I didn't really get that until after really using it. I don't think it's the worst one in the world. But yeah, there we go. Let's put the puck screaming up top. Nice and pretty. Okay. Cups are nice and hot. Try to get you a little bit closer here, guys. All right. So let's go ahead and pull this. Yeah, it came out way too fast. Oh, yeah, that's bad. Kills me. That one, I was actually shocked on that. That came out crazy fast. Oh, bummer. But remember I was talking about the Crema? Still tons of Crema. I'm going to give it a little taste. But it's terrible. I'll tell you that right now. Absolutely horrible. Okay. Normally I'm like, it's not that bad. No, that is terrible. That was not good. So I knew this would happen because with this machine, I've never pulled this coffee from this machine. So I had a big sneaking feeling that was going to be the case. So when you guys get that, that tells you, go finer. I'm going to have to go real fine with this one. So let's do that really quick here because it's going to kill me if I don't get this right. And I want to get it right. Okay. Yeah, I get you when it comes to with Starbucks. Yeah, that's kind of the hard thing. I think throughout the years it's just really had a big change. And I don't like to diss Starbucks too much because there, you know how there's those food deserts? There's some places in America where it's like a coffee desert. There's just not a good coffee for miles. And if folks have ever really traveled the country, I have. We just drove across the country. My wife and I just took a trip, like I said, to California and Arizona, and we went through all the states, Texas, and New Mexico, you name it. And there are certain points where you go, and there's not good coffee. There's not a local coffee place, and I almost would rather see something rather than nothing. And I definitely am for giving people experience and exposure. But yeah, it's tough. It definitely is a lot different than what it used to be, especially when I'm getting to be that old man, guys, where I'm like, back in my day. But that's kind of the thing. It's true. I was trying to explain that to my kiddo the other day. I remember going to one of my first Starbucks in Los Angeles, like one of the first locations that was out in California, and in the '90s, and it was a big deal. I remember I lived in New York after 9/11. I spent 2 years out there. I was a pastor, and that's why we call this channel. I call this channel Faith and Coffee Bean, because I worked with a lot of local cafes and food banks and restaurant owners who would donate excess food to the homeless, and I also helped homeless shelters and places that worked with. I'm gonna go all the way down to a 7. Yeah, I just have a feeling. I worked with um, a lot of substance abuse programs, so that's always been a big part of my calling. I've always loved helping out and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, my point is that a lot different. Just put this all in at once. Okay, make sure this is nice and clear. All right, cool. Yeah, and it's always a hard job too working in a cafe. Anybody who's never worked as a server or in a cafe before, I always say go do that. You'll learn patience that you've never had before. When you're front facing like that with the general public, I tell my kid on his first job, maybe that's what he should do. He's 17, and I'm like, yeah, it might be that time. Just because it really, I tell you, it really helped me out as a person. Super, super good life skills. Okay, so let's go ahead and now that this is nice and hot, give it a quick clean. There we go. So, these beans do not have a roast date. They are sold on Amazon. So I don't know when they were roasted. It doesn't mean that they're bad quality in any way, shape, or form, but they also are coming from Vietnam. I believe they are locally roasted in Vietnam. They're not just country of origin. I think that's where they're actually roasted. So, I do find that with these particular beans, I've had to go a lot finer than I usually do. But they taste really good. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right, second chance. Last shot of redemption. Last shot of redemption. Let's see how we look. Okay, let's make sure our cup is in the right spot. Okay. See if I can redeem myself. Yeah, cool. It totally way better. I mean, it's at 12 bars. I like to get it about 10 to 9, but yeah, nice crema. 15 and 18 seconds. Ooh, that crema's so much. All right, I'm going to have to stop this soon. I'm stopping it at 29 and 25 seconds. It's dialed in the right place. Definitely where I'd like it to be. Look at that crema. That's what I'm talking about. The all top part is just crema. Look at that, beautiful. Again, I had a feeling this one eventually would be the crema beast. Robusta always gives good crema. There's just no other way to say it. Crema's not everything, but it is nice. It's pretty. It's what most of us look at and like, oh, that's a good shot, you know. But that's not 14.89 on the refractometer. It's not everything, I'll tell you that, guys. 14.89. So yeah, definitely way in the espresso range. Way in the espresso range. Beautiful, right? Cheers. Wow, nice and creamy. So this is definitely dark roast. So dark roast, Robusta, you're gonna get to be. It's gonna be pretty forgiving, guys. Just with this one, definitely had to go a lot finer. It has very good chocolate undertones. Like I always say this with Vietnamese coffee. I get a lot of black cherry. Definitely delicious. Would be really great with a milk drink. Give it some nice flavor. Something that's really bold, robust. You know, I dig it. So I'm telling you guys right now, this is a pretty good one. They're on Amazon. I'm pretty surprised. I've been getting a lot of Birdie beans, and they're another great company. Here's Birdie right here. It's very similar, and Birdie's really bold, like really bold. So this is kind of more subtle, but still really good. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with these. And that other shot, I won't even taste that as a comparison. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. But guys, yeah, hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me. But again, my name is Tony. You're watching Faith and Coffee Bean. Guys, I am not the coffee pro. I am the coffee home dude. So if you're looking for a goofy dad to hang out with and watch and get some advice and share some advice with, really am a firm believer in iron sharpens iron. So if there's any suggestions, tips, or tricks, let me know in the comments below. Also, follow me on Instagram, guys. Really appreciate that. That's the number one place where, you know, people connect with me for coffee stuff. So I love seeing the pictures people post their coffee setup. So definitely do that. You know, give me a shout out. Say, hey, Tony, we'll go watch you on YouTube. And here's my setup. Cool. Send me some pics. Appreciate it, guys. Really appreciate you hanging out with me. Thank you so much. And hey, you guys have a good week. Happy Sunday, okay?